Hello and welcome, everybody. It is episode 3 of Goofing with Newf, and super excited that I have my first ever guest with me this evening. She is my co-host and panel member over on the Game Dosage podcast. It is the incredible Primal Eve. Primal, how you doing tonight, girl? I know you've been away for a little while.
Yeah, I've been away for a while. I've had some health issues. I had a surgery a couple weeks ago. But I'm doing all right. It was fine for me because it was probably the first time I had anything in me for a while. So, you gotta take the positives.
Wow, we're starting off on the right track already, and we have got an amazing group of people just showing up. Timothy Dixon, first guy in the house tonight. We've got our good friend Shizno Elite is here, as well as the Indie Gamer, who is probably one of the biggest supporters of our podcast over the last while. Guys, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. It's a small group, but it's a fucking fantastic group. You're in for a wild ride tonight. We've got some amazing topics to dive into. We're going to get right into it. Like Primal says, there's going to be stuff up in here tonight, and I got Primal with me. So either put some cotton balls in your ears or get ready for a while, because this could get a little moisty up in here. The snail trail is coming on through. And like I said, guys, I can't say enough about Primal. You know, I stumbled across this girl a few months back before we got to the Game Dosage podcast, and just through a private conversation on Twitter, I could tell that she had some balls of her own. She had some charisma, and she knew gaming. And, you know, anytime you can find a girl who's very passionate about gaming, but she's also not afraid to be herself and can be just as, level-headed or unlevel-headed as the guys, and can, anybody that can kind of stand up and go toe-to-toe with Newf Nukem on the raunchy scale is okay in my book. So Primal, you definitely get full ranks there, girl.
Awesome.
And you're going to have a lot of chance to talk tonight, so I hope that you're well-winded there.
Yeah,
it's only the two of us.
Like pent up podcast frustration that I need to let out. I've had plenty of sexual frustration, but I take care of that.
There you go, guys. Primal's not shy about her frustration, so if you're in her area code, you never know. Maybe you should send her a message. Primal, I'm pretty sure we could get you a date if you need one. So
I'm sure.
No doubt. Like I said, we got some other people in the house. Z Black Rider is up in here. What's going on, Black Rider, dude? Thanks for popping by, guys. Everybody that's in the chat, we can't thank you enough. Hang in. You're going to be in for a wild treat tonight. So, Primal, I mean, outside of surgery, be kind of laid back a little bit. What have you been up to? Have you been able to game at all? Is there, anything you've been playing?
Yeah, I completed Assassin's Creed Odyssey finally, and then I got into Red Dead Redemption 2, which I've really been enjoying. It was a little difficult to go from something as fast-paced as Assassin's Creed to Red Dead, but it is a beautiful game. I am finding myself hunting and jamming out to music while I'm skinning rabbits and shit. So I am having a good time with it.
In other words, in Red Dead Redemption, you do get your skin, right?
in some shape or form.
Yeah, it is pretty much the coolest animal skinning animation I've ever seen in a game, compared to the first game where they just show you with a knife and then it cuts away. How about the chat? What's everybody been up to in the chat? First of all, let's give a shout out to some new people showing up in here. We got Cedric up in here, Treacherous God, my good old buddy. What's happening? Brian Harris, there he is. UK Dazzy needs sleep, but look, he knew he could smell the snail. He could smell the snail trail and decided to show up. Dazzy, what's happening, brother?
He slipped right in. Almost didn't.
He will not. The dude will not sleep as long as he knows that you're alive on the air somewhere. Fucking fantastic, you guys. Yes, episode 3 of Goofing with Newf. I couldn't have picked a better guest to start out with. Primal, it's odd because right from the moment I decided to come out with this podcast, I said, I am going to throw in some guests from time to time. And, could have picked 100 different people, everybody well-deserving, but you were the first. I said, I don't know, I just got to get you to be the first on this show. So a little bit of history in the making here. Ashtray, what's happening, brother? Thanks for popping by. So yeah, how about the chat, guys? What have you been playing? Has everybody completed Red Dead at this point? I'm playing Red Dead right now. I actually restarted playing Horizon Zero Dawn, believe it or not. It looks really cool on the Pro. So everybody in the chat, first of all, how's the audio, guys? Let me know if there's any audio issues. Yesterday I had some really bad internet and it was making life hell on the Game Dosage podcast. Spider-Man 356, I knew you'd be here eventually. Spider-Man's a good dude. He always shows up, man. Dude's like a morning boner. He's always there. Oh man, awesome. You like those morning boners, don't you? Primal. Reach over and get that car going. Put it in first gear. All right, sound is good. Everybody says chat is fucking fantastic. Already up to 15 people watching. Oh man, Dazzy dropping some bombs in the chat. Woo! Getting live up in here. All right, guys. So what else is new in your world? Probably see any good movies or stuff like that at all?
Not really. Well, like I saw Meg recently. I'm actually really looking forward to watching Overlord. I don't know, something about it. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to watching that here soon.
And that movie looks so cool, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm waiting for Aquaman, not because of Aquaman, but
oh, come on now.
Well, no, it's not Aquaman the character himself, but I'm all about Jason Momoa. Like he's like my dream man. Like if you guys watch Game of Thrones and you see him as Khal Drogo, like I want him to Khal Drogo me. So I'm going. I really want to watch the movie just to see him.
Oh, awesome! We have a new line tonight, guys. You can walk up to your lady friends and say, "Have you been drogoed lately?" Nice. Well, Jason Momoa is a really cool dude. Actually, he was supposed to come to the Edmonton Comic-Con back in late September, and you know what? The night before he showed up, he had to cancel. It was so sad because I was really actually looking forward to actually probably getting an autograph or a picture with the guy, but unfortunately it didn't happen. So Born Distracted is up in the chat. He says Creed 2 and Wreck-It Ralph looks awesome. Yeah, they do actually. The new Wreck-It Ralph, what's it called? Breaking the Internet looks good. Creed 2 looks pretty cool. And I just saw Bohemian Rhapsody, guys, and I'm not the biggest Queen fan in the world, but heck, that movie made me a bit of a Queen fan. It was actually really good. Fan. Have you seen it?
No, I really, really want to, and my daughter really wants to, but I'm not so sure if there's going to be like too much adult content because I know a little bit about their history. I don't think
it's actually not. Would be okay. It's not too bad actually. There's no nudity,
well,
right?
Good.
There's no, there's alluded to sex scenes, but I don't think there was anything major in the movie. Nothing crazy, and a little bit of language here and there, but nothing too crazy, right?
I'm fine with language with her because I can't. The kids in middle school nowadays, it's just like I'm like, you said what? Like even I actually that's a lie. They say things that I would say, and
absolutely.
It's not really appropriate.
Guys, how is Primal's audio? Is she coming through loud and clear? Just want to make sure. Otherwise, I can turn her up a little bit.
Yeah, because I don't, and also my internet is a little wacky. So I don't know if I'm botting or not.
If I can't turn her up, I can turn her on, I suppose. One of the two.
Hey, it works for me.
Well, Brian Harris says she wants a big Scandinavian. Not sure what that is, but it sounds dirty. All right. Sounds like a good sausage or something. I don't know. Okay. Everybody says a good Try Hard fan is up in the chat. What's happening? Try Hard. Good to see you, bro. Thanks for popping by. Who did I miss, guys? Remember, if I don't mention your Lunch Bizzle's here. I did miss him. Cyber Gunter slipping in the back door too. Cyber Gunter knows all about them backdoor holes. Lunch Bizzle, Cyber guys, thanks for stopping by. Like, this is a who's who of people in the chat, like people that I respect and love from the community because they've been here every step of the way. BZ McNasty is up in here bringing a little nasty business to the chat. What's happening, BZ? Audio's fine. You need a mouthful, Dazzy says. Fantastic. Well, again, this is a gaming podcast, but we're going to, it's not the traditional gaming podcast. We're going to be shooting the shit. We're going to be talking about music, movies, a little bit of everything, what's happening in our lives, all that good shit, But we do have a couple of big topics, so we'll get right into it, I guess, 10 minutes in. You probably heard the big news this week, Primal. It was really big news. Kind of came out of nowhere, left field, so to speak, and slapped us upside the head like a big old porno penis. We need sound effects up in here. But yeah, Sony is not going to E3, and I don't give a damn if you hate Sony or you love Sony. It is a big deal. It's a big disappointment in my personal opinion, but I want to get your take on it. I've talked about this a little bit on other podcasts, but just from an outside perspective, I mean, how does that make you feel that, one of the biggest companies who's put on a pretty good show most years, they're not going to be there? What do you think?
It's weird. It's really weird because they're part of the gaming industry. They're like a giant quarter of it. And it's going to be odd not having them there because they do make an impact, whether it's positive, negative, or just watching a train wreck like last year or this year. I'm already jumping ahead. I'll be singing Christmas songs here soon. But it's just they have their reasons, whether they make sense, whether we'll actually ever know. We won't. I've seen some people make you know, some thoughts about, oh well, they're just getting ready for PS5, or oh well, they don't have anything to show because of Microsoft beating them. I don't even think that that's really a thing. They have something, we just don't know. But yeah, it is going to be weird, and it is going to be kind of like having an empty a gap that I'm not so sure I want.
Well,
so
well, you know what? Like, I'm going to ask you this question, but first, Triard says, you know, he doesn't mind that they're, and Triard's a big Sony guy, you know, he's a big supporter of them, and I love his honest takes on things. You know, he says he doesn't mind at first, I guess, but he still thinks they could have represented, shown off some teaser titles, maybe shown off some of their other games and that sort of thing. I think is, well, even if they didn't have a lot to show, just being there is a, right, you know, is a credit to them and a service to the industry. But either maybe they're afraid that they're going to get upstaged by Microsoft, because Microsoft is most likely going to have a little bit more to show, especially with a lot of the new studio acquisitions, like I said, or they're really gearing up to do an all-out PS5 blowout. It's no secret, right, that Sony seems like they're winding things down and they're gearing up for their next console, but I still think you need to be there. But my question to you, Primal, do you think that this either puts more pressure on Microsoft or takes it off? Do you think that Microsoft is going to be able to slide through this E3 like a greasy dildo?
I think I think that they're going to perform just as well, if not better, as this past year's E3. And honestly, I would say that it could be putting some pressure on them, because there's a giant mystery around Sony right now. What are they going to do to try and one up the Xbox? You know, mm-hmm. So then again, Microsoft has had so many surprises, and they've shown us that there is a future, mm-hmm, for gaming, especially with all of like the new developers that they've gotten. Like, I'm so excited for gamers and everybody. But yeah, I think that there is some pressure on them because they don't know what's going to happen.
Well, Prime, I'll put it this way. I think the thing is, for Microsoft, is it kind of puts a little bit more pressure on them in a way, because now you don't have a certain measuring stick to gauge your own show, right? Like, either exactly which way, people are going to think it's crap or they're going to think it's awesome. But like now, like before, you could kind of, after Microsoft's show was done and then you watch Sony's show, then you could kind of go back and go, Microsoft's show was really good because they did this, this, and this. Now we don't have that measuring stick, and to be quite honest, also respect to Nintendo, but it's hard to use a measuring stick with those guys because they're so fucking weird, right? And I say it's like this. It's like comparing it. I'm going to put this in a Newf Nukem fucking term for you guys. It's like comparing good pussy to bad pussy. How do you know if you've had good pussy if you've never had bad pussy? And trust me, I've had my fair share of pussy, and I know how good pussy feels like. So there you go. That's a great way to put it. Oh, what's up, Jiggle Cookin is in the chat. Siberia up in the house. Woo! What's happening, everybody?
Must have bring back the Walkman, man.
Man, Dazzy going off in the chat in here. Man, it's a good thing he's not in the show tonight. Woo! I don't know if you're reading this stuff, but damn, Dazzy all up in here, man. We got like a little porn thing going on between the chat in here tonight. Damn. But yeah, so. Anyway, just to clarify things, though, guys, this is a Newf Nukem podcast, and most people wouldn't be here if they didn't expect it to be a little bit raunchy. That's how I operate. Mine's always a little rated R, and yeah, and that's yeah, I could say other words, but anyway, let's get back on topic. So yeah, it is disappointing, though, right? I mean, overall, like, there's nothing to look forward to from them for a little while.
Yeah, I don't know, and. It's hard because I know, like, it's gonna come back to the community, and I don't know. So Sony, the Sony ponies, I don't really even like calling them that. It's just like the Sony fans. They have been a little quiet lately. They've been very quiet.
Fuck, I know, man. They don't even have a haystack to go to right now. That barn is gonna feel a little empty come June. But like it's all seriousness, guys. I mean, it's just not good. And nobody, if you're happy that they're not showing up, I think there's definitely something wrong with you. Whether you're a Sony fan, an Xbox guy, Nintendo guy, just for the industry, right? You saw their stock market prices plummet a little bit. I think they've climbed back a little bit as well, but still, like, you want to see them come out and represent. And even if they've got a bit of a light year, they could easily just come out and say, guys, just don't expect the biggest E3 from us this year, because we are gearing up for something bigger and better, but we're gonna put out a bit of a show for our fans, right? Because if anything else, it's fan service, right? It's a chance to mingle with the third-party devs. It's a chance to show off what you got, maybe tease a little something coming up. I mean, Sony's got to have other games in the pipeline, right? It's not like, oh my God, we're starting development next week, right?
Right. And even if they are waiting for the PS5, why don't you show us, like, I don't know, a little sketch? I know they're drawing shit, so it's like something like this is, or one game or something.
I do think the biggest part of this is I think Sony really wants Microsoft to show their hand. I think they're a little nervous because Microsoft's got the bigger checkbook to throw out the hardware. And we've already seen what the X is starting to do, where a lot of the third-party stuff is getting shown off on the X. And even if it's not a marketing deal, you're seeing reviews and you're seeing, well, plays better and looks better on the X. And I think that's a little bit intimidating. So I think they don't want to be upstaged. I mean, Sony is a company that takes a lot of pride in a lot of their stuff. So, yeah, it definitely is getting a little X-rated up in here, Brian. Oh, man. Yeah, so I'll apologize, and I won't apologize, because I know some of you love it, some of you don't. But holy shit, Dazzy is going off up in here. Yeah, oh, boy. Anybody got a bucket of water? Somebody want to throw on Dazzy? Because he's a little hot and bothered over there. Man, he should be going to sleep, but he sounds like he's up in more ways than one. Hot damn. NC-17. Yeah, this podcast is not making it past the YouTube jurisdiction. But I won't beat this one to death, unlike myself. But yeah. Woo! Yeah, so again, it is what it is. A good take on that though, Primal. Did you say you just recently got a PlayStation or no?
Yes, I did, but it's just my main reason for having a PlayStation, and the person who gifted me the PlayStation understands, like, we both share the same love for JRPGs. Now, the Xbox is not well known for having their JRPGs, so I needed to have another system so I can still enjoy and love those games. I'm not picking one over the other. The Xbox will always be like my home system, because that's where like, my family is. The multiplayer games, I just have everything so much more invested in that than the PlayStation. If there's one game that I want on the PlayStation, sure, yeah, but I'm not going to dedicate all of my time on it.
Do you have a particular favorite PlayStation title? Is there anything that really stands out to you, or a game that you've currently liked? It could be from an old PlayStation title. Maybe you're a fan of Uncharted or God of War, and what's something that you're dying to play?
Well, I'm a big JRPG person. I just started getting into the Tales series, like the Tales of, I can't even think.
Vesperia, and what's the other one? Yeah.
Well, there's Berseria, and then there's also Brain Fart. But I've been playing
Brain Fart. I want to play that game.
I've been playing the Tales games since the PS1, so it felt really, really great for me to get back on there. I also have Persona 5, which I'm dying for.
Leave it to Primal. Really even when she's playing video games, she finds a way to get her tail.
Yeah, so like the same thing with Persona. I've been playing Persona since PlayStation 1 again. So those titles I'm really, really looking forward to continuing to play. But there isn't anything really that I'm looking forward to.
Right.
If I don't know.
Now, can I ask you, with those Tales games, are they turn-based RPGs, or are they sort of action-oriented, kind of like Final Fantasy 15?
It's weird.
Because I can't stand the turn-based stuff, and I was tempted to pick one up a while back, but I didn't really know anything about it. So
the original Tales games were more of a turn-based, but this one, it's more. It's like not necessarily like a hack and slash, but you do have a group of 4 people together and you just go at it. It's not turn based. It's not where you have to It's not where you have to wait for like a bar or anything to go down before you can have your turn. It's nothing like that. It's more just action, hack and slashish things.
Fucking, you know what? UK Dash should start up his own product. He either needs to make a dildo for the ladies called the Dazinator. That's what I think. What do you think, guys? He needs to make his own dildo for the ladies called the Dazinator.
Right.
And it should have a retractable thing on it too, like Scorpion's fucking whip, and then it says, "Come over here."
I just hope it's not as wide as this beer can, because I don't think I could do that.
Yeah, you can get yours in Dazzy beer can wide. Oh man. Monkey Punch is up in the chat. Monkey Punch is here. Who else jumped in here? Somebody else. Did I miss somebody already? Brian, man, don't stay up too long. I know you're in the UK and these time zones and things are killer for you guys. But anyway, man, hang in there, man. Hang in there. Yeah, good stuff. So, like I said, we'll move on to the next topic here now, guys. Let's keep the show moving right along. But yeah, I'm really happy that Primal's finally got herself a PlayStation. Like I said to anybody, guys, if you can afford to own more than one, and you can at least find the time as well, because that's always the hardest part. Even if you own the consoles, it's finding the time to play all the damn good games. That's the biggest problem we have as gamers. But yeah, do yourself a service. Whether you're a PlayStation guy and you want to pick up an Xbox to play Halo and Gears or Forza, or you're an Xbox guy and you want to pick up Uncharted or God of War or Gran Turismo or something along that lines, I think that everybody should do themselves a service. And if you just don't care, if you don't have enough time, that's cool too. Like either which way, as long as you're gaming and you're supporting this great industry that has become our hobbies and our lives to some degree, then I think that's pretty cool. I'm not here hating, I'm just masturbating. That's how we roll. Be moist up in here, saying Siberia up in the house. Yeah, spiking it on God of War, guys. If you haven't jumped on that bandwagon yet, it's dirt cheap for Black Friday. I think some places are selling it for as low as $20. I think right now it's only $50 brand new at Walmart, and I think it's going to be on sale for Black Friday as well here in Canada. I'll have to pick up a new copy since I don't have it from the last time. Yeah, great game, by the way. Crazy Greek dude, what is going on, dude? Yeah, I'm back this week. Unfortunately, guys, like I said, I missed last week due to something coming up, but glad to be here and glad to have Primal with me as well. Let's get into the next topic, and let's talk about one that's, I guess I could go on all night, but I'm going to try to keep it a little bit short. That is possible rumors and things. Sorry? What?
I said I'm used to that, not necessarily.
Well, no, that's right. I got a woman who can take care of things too, but every once in a while, man, it's kind of lonely. You got to rub one out, Jago. You know what I mean? All righty. It's good to fantasize. You know what they say? That's what they always say, man. You gotta have a little bit, the mind can take you places.
Yes,
my mind is all over the place, like this podcast. But anyway, rumors of a digital Xbox One. That means no disc drive. And this has been a hot topic for a while. I guess we could see this one coming on like a blind person. Did you get that joke? It's really weird on podcasts because you can't hear the people getting in with you. But anyway, yeah, we're talking about possibly an X. Look, okay, and I'll just keep it simple, and I'm going to turn it over to you, Primal. I think it's a good idea, and it's a bad idea at the same time. I think it's great because there's a lot of people out there now who still don't own an Xbox, would like to jump on board. Sometimes the price has been a barrier. It'll allow more people to play. It allows easy access for games. Hopefully the hard drive space is at least hopefully a terabyte. That sort of thing. So there are some positives of it. I guess I'm just afraid of where the industry wants to take us. Now, a lot of people are on board and they don't care. For me personally, I don't like the idea because I feel that at some point, whether it's Microsoft or Sony, obviously it seems like Microsoft is leading the race in this department, are going to sort of gouge us, take advantage of us, and like everything, they'll get you onto the subscription services, and once enough people are there, they'll start cutting out the other options, and then they'll start making you pay more for it. Like, for example, guys, why the fuck are we still paying the same prices for digital games as we would new in the store? I never got that. You don't have a middleman, you don't have the production costs, but yet you go on the store and they're $79.99 and they're $79.99 at Walmart. That's in Canada anyway. Is that because they're just trying to keep the retailers happy? Because if so, at some point in time, they're going to piss the retailers off anyway, because they are driving people to either go into the store and buy cards or subscriptions. So the retailers at some point are going to start losing big money. They already are, because we've already seen a lot of video game departments shrink by about fucking 70%, right? So convenience fee, says BZ McNasty. Well, anyway, what's your take, Primal? Let me hear from you. Give us your perspective on this Xbox, and do you think this is the future of gaming? And if so, are you on board with it?
I think I love options. Options are great. They're fantastic. I do believe that this is going to be the future for a lot of things. Like back in the day when we were old school gaming, we never even dreamed of being able to do half the stuff that we do now. And as much as I love inserting things over and over and over again, a lot of my games are digital because I do share with somebody, and it makes it easier for somebody who won't even touch a game to have a completely digital, a digital disc. I'm trying so hard not to say dickless. Discless Xbox. So I think it's I think it's fucking does. I think I think it is a great idea. I do see where you're coming from about pricing and everything like that. They need to find a way to have a better balance about it, and they also need to make sure that they have options. You can't, especially for people who are collectors, like you can't get an actual collector's edition digitally unless they're going to be sending you shit. And then there's the whole thing where you can get a collector's edition without the game.
Yeah. Well, here's another perfect example, right? Games that often have extensive licenses, right? Whether it's music or sports or stuff like that. Like those games, have you ever wondered why, you know, when Nintendo made, well, I guess not so much for the NES, but the Super Nintendo, you notice it has no sports games, the old sports games on there. A lot of these retro consoles have no sports games. You know, like who wouldn't like one of their older classic sports games? Well, why? Because those licenses expired, and a lot of these companies aren't interested in rebuying a license, or, you know, things have changed, right? For example, some of the Turtles games have been hard to get because, you know, at one point they were bought out by Konami and then they went with somebody else. You know what I mean? So like for me, the only, like I have a Dreamcast, and the only way I'm ever going to play like say NBA 2K or NHL 2K or any of those games is to have the physical disc, because those games won't be on a digital store to buy because they're not going to renew the licenses. And yeah, sports games are a poor example because most of us, like, you don't really want to play like a 20 or 30-year-old sports game that has outdated rosters and stuff, but it's the nostalgic factor. It's part of that awesome part of collecting, right? So, and that's not just sports games, it's other games, any game at all, like at some point in time that are, especially if they're tied to servers and they're tied to being online. Well, what if the numbers go down? Maybe you really like the game, maybe you'd like to play offline, but you can't even do it because you've shut down the game. Case in point, Mag for the PlayStation 2, right? Mag came out for the PS2. It was supposed to be the biggest thing since sliced bread when the PS2 came out. Was it PS2 or PS3? Sorry. And yeah, it had a lot of people for a while. But guess what? It was an online-only game. The only way you could play it was play online. And when a lot of people dropped out of that game, well, it left the other people that still wanted to play it hanging because it shut everything down. So that game became no better to you than a fucking beer coaster, right? So, like, this is what I'm saying. Anything that is digital only tied to a server always can potentially have like just disappear overnight, and then you're stuck with it anyway. It's just you spend all that money for nothing, right?
Exactly. No, I definitely see where you're coming from, because even though we own rights to play it, we don't really own it at all.
Exactly.
And I would be absolutely mortified, especially even with like with your save progress, that all being up in the cloud. What if something happens? That shit is gone. No, I definitely understand where we're coming with that. I do kind of miss the days where you had like 600 PS1 and PS2 memory cards, you know, for all your games. And I do miss that stuff, but unfortunately, just going and being
well, we just threw a little bit of salt
just
on the snail trail because Salty is Gaming is in the house, and he says the discs don't work without servers too, and that's a great point, Salty. And that again, but isn't that a bit of a problem that technically we become more of a rental industry than actually, you know, feeling like I know we never really own a property, right? It's their property, but it's that feeling of ownership when you have it and you physically have a copy of it. You do feel like you've invested more. I mean, I used to really enjoy back in the day when you could, you know, look at video game art. Remember when games actually came with art books and maps and they came with a little extra, and now all you get is that stupid warning inside. Hey, if you got seizures or some shit like that, you know what I mean? Like, don't you just miss that?
I remember those days. It felt good. It felt good to open up your case, and they were actual video game cases, not this recycled thing that's gonna like break if you hold it too hard. And it's just I understand, yes, recycling is good for the environment. I'm just talking about the feelings I had when I opened up a nice hard box. Like, it was just, I don't know. I love those days. I miss those days. I kind of wish I had my old systems, because my favorite game of all time is Shadow Hearts Covenant, and I'll never be able to play that again because of licensing. They're never going to put that.
And there's just something about tangible products. It's like old cars. I mean, you know, you can look at old vintage cars in pictures, and that's great. It's like, cool, like that's a really nice car, but doesn't it seem cooler when you can actually go to a car show and touch it and sit inside of it and smell the interior? Like, it's sort of that feeling. And some people just don't get it. Some people have clearly just gone to digital for convenience, right? It's just a convenience thing. They don't have to go to the store. They don't have to get up to put a disc in, or they save a lot of money. And I get it. I'm not going to rag anybody out because that's the way you're going. I said, look, I'm all for it as long as Microsoft or Sony or Nintendo continue to give us options. And Nintendo, well, they don't give a fuck anyway. They're just off beating their own drum over there. Like, honest to God, like, these guys can't even get their online rights. I'm not worried about Nintendo because, fuck, you say right, Nintendo says left, you know what I mean? And then Nintendo fucking probably makes love to their women on the fucking ceiling. These guys are weird as shit. I don't know, but they always make it work. They're fucking still using cartridges, right? So, and I'm cool with that. You know, but it's a really weird conundrum that Nintendo's going. Like, Nintendo's the only fucking company right now that doesn't take fucking shit because their game is it's not 1080p, it's not 4K. I mean, fucking Super Mario Odyssey came out, no one was ragging on that because it wasn't 4 fucking K, and you could fucking pick out the dimples on fucking Mario's asshole. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, because we're all so spoiled. We're so fucking spoiled from all the graphics and the frame rates and everything like that a lot of people are losing or missing out on the on the base of what gaming is. Like you said, and I can't stop thinking about it, but the smell of opening up a box, that was like,
oh yeah, the smell of going down on a box. I know what that's like.
That was like my favorite thing. And my biggest pet peeve with some of my exes is if they opened up my box, unseal the plastic and everything before I would get so angry because I would want to get that first smell, like that first whiff of the box. I needed it first. But no, I feel like we're starting to lose what it is to be, because we're all being so damn spoiled.
Yeah, man. You know, Born Distracted in chat says Nintendo cartridges, in my opinion, more like memory cards. But you know what? Kudos to Nintendo, because at least when they make their systems, they didn't force you to buy a proprietary memory card to fucking save their games. Unlike Sony, which was one of the biggest fucking problems with the PSP, and then it was the Vita, was that you had to buy an overly expensive memory card from Sony only. The save in it is like Sony. Like that was a big problem. You could walk into, I walk into the store, I don't want a memory card, and I can get an SD card with fucking 128 gigs for $40, or I can get a fucking 8 gigabyte fucking Sony one, which must come with a bunch of porn on it or something, for fucking 120. You know what I mean? You're like, what the fuck, man? Like, what's on this thing? Does this thing make my breakfast? It's a memory card. But that's part of Sony's problem. And, you know, this is their backwards way of thinking. They do shit. They follow the Apple model, whereas Apple is like, hey, we're fucking Apple. We can do what we want. Let's take fucking the audio jack out of our fucking phones because everybody wants to use Bluetooth. Like, what the fuck, man? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going off topic here, but
no, but you really have a good point. Sony is doing that, and I remember being an employee at a certain video game store called GameStop. It was really hard to sell those systems. Like I would have a great sale. You know, they would have the system. They'd have like 12 games. They would already get the card in the magazine. Like, I got this shit. They already reserved 30 games. I'm like, yes, I'm the shit. And then they're like, do I need anything else? And I'll be like, well, you need this memory card. And then the whole sale would be gone.
Yeah.
I'm like,
see, for me, they like Apple. If Apple wants to make their phone and take out the jack, cool. But you know what? You should make a second model that still has the jack. It's called options for people that haven't upgraded, don't want to upgrade, but now you're kind of forced. Like, this is what I'm saying. It's these forced options. And trust me, the industry's really sneaky, right? That's why they do. They bait you in with these cheap deals. They do it through prices till eventually you can't avoid it. And all of a sudden you don't realize that those cool things that you really loved are now fucking gone. You know, it's even like a CD player. I just bought a new vehicle, and I know I sound like an antique over here. I sound like a fucking dinosaur, but I love CD players in my car. I had one in my last car, and I used it all the fucking time. Even up to now, I used it all the time. Now, I don't have one in there. So guess what I got to do? I got to go buy a fucking handheld one and plug it in and use my CDs because I have a shitload. And trust me, I love my CDs. Why? Because the audio is always good. And two, there's a lot of shitload of songs on CDs that you're never going to hear on a fucking streaming service because streaming services are limited, or they don't have the licenses, or they don't play some of the bands that I like. See, this is the problem, right? There's always a control factor there. Netflix is fucking starting a monopoly. Guess what? They're charging me a lot more to watch Netflix now. And why? Because they're making 100 fucking shows that I don't care about. But guess what? I pay for those shows, but I don't watch those shows because I don't fucking like them. I just want big bang movies. They don't do it. They're just giving me shows. Oh, Netflix. We got to make a fucking show about everything. There's a show next week about farting. There's a superhero show. There's a show about fucking taking a shit in your fucking toilet. Like, come on, man. I don't want to watch, like, every time I turn on Netflix, I don't want to see Netflix original. Like, some of those shows are good. Some of those movies are good. Don't get me wrong. But I didn't pay for Netflix for that. Maybe you guys did. I fucking didn't. That's all I'm saying. And this is what I'm saying. They just do what they want, and you're along for the fucking ride. And this is what I hate about any company. They don't ask you if you want it. They don't care. They just do it. And eventually you're like, oh, the shit I liked is gone now. Thank you. I know, just went off on a fucking mooch like rant.
Oh, no, I definitely am like, yeah, that was very mooch like of you. But no, I hear you, and that's what video games are turning into. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, it is what it is. Look, the industry is going to go one way or the other, and it's driven by the majority, not the minority, right? That's the bottom line, which kind of freaks me out that like DVDs are still fucking going because like DVDs are really ancient now, right? Like who the hell wants to watch a DVD when you can watch a Blu-ray or 4K Blu-ray, which are far superior in quality, but yeah, you go to the store and the stores are still loaded. And why? Probably because it's the cheapest way to get the media physically, right? They're usually like $5 or $10 cheaper than the DVD or the 4K Blu-ray in general, right? But it's like, who the fuck is still watching a 420p fucking DVD these days? Like, Jesus, that shit looks like crap on your 4K TV. It's like all grainy and shit. I got a 70-inch 4K in my house, and when I watch a DVD, it's like, oh Jesus, this looks like I'm watching VHS now. Like, what the fuck? Like, it looks like fucking you're watching a porn. It looks like someone put a fucking shag carpet screen over everybody. You know what I mean?
It's all about trial and error. Like, I remember when there was the HD DVDs before the Blu-rays even came out, and those lasted maybe a half a year. And honestly, are people still buying 3D TVs?
Yeah, so. Well, 3D just wasn't the step up that people wanted to be. And the problem with 3D is much the same as with VR right now, right? The biggest problem with VR is, one, the price, and two, the bulky, sweaty ass headsets, right? Like, that's like when they get to the point where VR can be pretty much like a set of glasses, very light glasses that don't need 500 wires and 50 buttons, and you don't have to calibrate it every 5 seconds. When it gets to that point, and probably at some point it will, then I think VR might be for the masses. But until then, like if you're watching VR, you're sitting down by yourself watching it at home. You can't, it's not a family experience where you're going to share a headset with 5 people. See if we can stretch this fucker out here, you know? Hey, we'll share it. You watch 5 minutes, I'll watch 5 minutes. We'll give it back to you. This thing will smell like fart in 5 minutes. But yeah, let's go. But anyway, do you think it's a future? Do you think, I guess at the end of the day, Primal, do you think that consoles will eventually remove all disk drives?
Unfortunately, yes, I do see it heading that way. I wish that there, or I hope that there still will. It's just the way things are. Like with friggin' strategy guides, with Brady Games going down. You know, eventually the things that we love and are used to are gonna go away.
See, Crazy Greek dude should have been working for these idiots that made 3D, because he's the problem with 3D is they gave people an option, 3D or not. So people obviously went for the cheaper model. At some point, they just start bundling in 3D, and then it would have got adopted a lot faster, you know, or offered incentives to trade up to 3D perhaps, and it would have been that's the thing is once you get mass adoption, that's when it takes. Until you get to that point, it's no good. That's the problem with, say, the HD DVD. When HD DVD come out, Microsoft was not smart, because Microsoft, the moment, instead of adding that expensive add-on, they should have included it in the 360. All the 360s at some point, right? All of the 360s at some point, you got to agree, should have had the HD DVD. And guess what? That would have been probably the primary format, right?
Yeah, I remember that being ridiculous, that you had to buy the HD DVD player and attach it on and all that bullshit. And nobody wanted to do that, but they still did. It's all about trial and error. So, you know, who knows if everything did end up being discless. You know, it may fail. It may fail, and they could retract back to, you know, back to insert.
See, the thing is, most companies don't understand that sometimes in order to make a profit in the long haul, they got to swallow a big loss in the short haul. And that is, they got to give away their products, or they've got to really entice people to get, you know what I mean, to adopt them, because that Microsoft was trying to be smart with Kinect. The problem with Kinect was it wasn't the problem that was bundled in. People didn't really care one way or the other. The problem was that Microsoft threw the extra 100 on. When you look at the competitor's console and it's $100 less, if Microsoft was willing to suck up that loss, at least in the short term, so I think the Kinect would have been a success. They would have got all the developers on board for it, and I think there could have been a different future for that particular peripheral. Holy shit, the p words, but anyway, getting off topic here. That's enough of that. We're going to move on to another topic, which definitely should get your juices flowing, Primal. Talking about Gears 5. Gears 5, it is on the horizon. I know Rod Ferguson and the coalition, they were at XO recently, and I guess they showed it off behind closed doors and had some people test it out. I'm hearing really good things from what I've heard so far. Speculation, according to a recent interview with Rod Ferguson, says Gears of War 4 for them was more of it was a grounded experience. They were just about trying to prove to the fans that they could make a solid Gears experience, but obviously they had to work with new hardware. They had to figure out a direction, and et cetera, et cetera. So again, they played it a bit more safe with Gears. So where do you think 5 is going to go? Based on the footage we have seen so far at Primal, I'm super excited. I know you're a huge Gears fan. You're awesome at it. Yeah. So what do you think is going to happen?
Oh, man. Oh, Gears. Fuck. They can do it. I know that they could do it. They could make Gears again. And when I say that, I think it's fantastic about the movement and even just the storytelling too. My hopes were low for actually Gears 4, but it ended up doing a lot better than I thought. Now Gears 5, I want it to be dark and dirty and gritty and violent. I want I want all of what made Gears again. If that makes any sense. And yes, some
totally.
Some of the clips and stuff have definitely got me excited. I do enjoy the fact that it's Kate. It's cool to have, it's of course it's cool to have a female now. And I know some people are like, yeah, it's a lady, it has a vagina, blah blah, get away. But honestly, guys, like I bet you 90% of you probably pick female characters because that's the ass that you're gonna want to watch for the 95
they should make a big old female locust with giant boobs and be like shaking when she runs. That would be fucking hilarious. And have her grunting, be like,
yeah. Well, the thing is the only female locust is the berserker. And that frightens me. Yeah.
Oh, could you imagine a mode? Could you imagine a mode like Berserker Hunt or something like that, where there could be like a couple berserkers and it'd be like dark and shit, and they're like coming after you, and you got to be like quiet or they're wrecking you. You know what I mean? That'd be so cool. Or try to find the fucking Hammer of Dawn. There could be like one hidden throughout the level, and the whole level surrounded by fucking berserkers, and you got to try to avoid them to get to that hammer. That'd be so cool.
Oh my god, yeah. No, that would actually be really cool. It'd almost be like, oh shit, there's a game like that.
But like kind of like hide and seek against berserkers, essentially, right? Where you got to play it really cautiously.
Like if you even had it like Evolve, where one person turns into the berserker, and then that could be a whole entire multiplayer mode. I think that would be great. But yeah, like I was saying, the only female locust is berserker, and she would be really scary.
No doubt.
You would have to find a really big paper bag for that. But back to the whole Gears 5 thing. Yeah, I am very excited. BZ said that is it going to be 2-player co-op only? I think so. I haven't seen any clips really of there being more than just 2, as far as I know, which I'm okay with that. Yeah, it's cool that you can, bring in 3 friends with you or 2 extra friends. But the original Gears was 2-player co-op. It was that bond. It was all about Marcus and Dom. Like I like having that romance type thing instead of just, everybody can get a piece of this.
Totally. So, I know what you're saying, right? If you look back, probably, to most degree, like the first 2 Gears had much more common per se than a little bit of a departure with 3, and then Judgment. Well, let's not even talk about that. But yeah, I know what you're saying. Dark and gritty, because that's the thing that made Gears stand out. And one thing that's criminally understated with Gears, especially Gears 4, was how good the graphics were for Gears 4, and nobody really ever talked about it. Like, you've seen all these Sony games getting so much praise for their graphics, but honestly, go back and play Gears of War 4 now, especially if you have the Xbox One X, and just put that on the high fidelity mode, and just is that game not fucking eye porn for you? That's amazing.
It's beautiful. There's so much detail. They took so much care and love into the graphics that everybody's so used to just running and gunning and running through stories, even that they miss all that work that was put into the game.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm sorry. And this is one thing Xbox has that Sony doesn't. Xbox has at least, if nothing else, whether it's a game of the year shit or not, at least Xbox has multiplayer games that offer co-op modes. And I'm talking about real co-op modes, like a full campaign co-op, not a little side quest that you do in a multiplayer mode, like fucking protect the fort or some bullshit, like legitimate co-op modes. Xbox has it with Halo. They've had it with Gears. They even have co-op with fucking Forza Horizon, for crying out loud, okay? So Sony, you know what? You can do your single-player fucking game of the year bullshit, but you know what? It's finding time for you guys to fucking evolve and get some shit out that, your friends can play together. Tired of turning on my fucking PlayStation to find that everybody's playing a game that I can't invite you to. Sucks.
Right, exactly. And when you say co-op, like online co-op, not just the couch co-op, like, that was cool back in the day when people actually interacted with each other and invited their
couch
friends
co-op
over.
was great when I had a girl back in the house. I love that teenage couch co-op. Can I dip a little finger in? Can I dip a little finger? Can I test the air down there? Can we see if she's wet, see if she's dry, see if she smells like apple pie?
Oh man.
Oh man.
I'm hungry. Um, but like I don't know. I feel like at this day and age, almost every game should have a co-op something, unless it is strictly single player. There's so many, like you said, even the games with co-op, I don't want to play. I like Horde, but I
Yeah.
don't want that to
Horde's
be the
awesome.
only type of multiplayer in any game. Like I
Exactly.
don't want to do like hordes and hordes of just the same shit over and over
Well,
again. I
the
like that
thing, like,
variety.
at least with the horde mode, eventually, like, I think they have a new mode there now. I think, didn't we try it one night? They have horde, they got it scaled down to like 20 rounds or something. Because
Yeah,
that was my
yeah.
biggest problem with the original horde. Like, you needed a good team for one. I mean, it
Mhm.
was tough to play with anybody that was new to Gears because it was a bit of a learning curve. You had to explain how to do things and where to be and how to plant stuff. But
Right.
and it was too long. Like, you'd get in a horde and you'd want to finish it with your friends, but fuck, like the 50 rounds, unless you got a really amazing team, it was
Mhm.
tough to get through without being at least 3 or 4 hours long. And sometimes it's just nice to get in that quick round, like maybe an hour tops,
Yeah.
that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I've lost a lot of friends because they would like just ditch, or they wouldn't do their role, or they just would fall asleep during, eventually a buddy
Oh,
of
that sounds
mine
like sex.
right? A buddy of mine finally got it down to where we could two man a
Hmm.
50 on normal. We have never done it on
Damn.
hard because eventually I gave up. But yeah, you do need a dedicated team, and not only that, but with Gears 4, they made it so that you also need to level up your character as well. Everybody needed to have the properly leveled up character and also the proper class for anything really to work well
Hmm.
together, unless you want to cheese it and throw on a bunch of turrets. But yeah, I do like it. Sometimes faster is better. I honestly don't mind things being really fast and just getting it done, because then I can get back to my video games. If
There you
that's
go.
wait, we talking about sex or are we talking about games? I'm off track.
Oh, you're the best, Prime. I like how you can make just about any game topic just go off the rails. That's why you're fucking awesome. God love you. But yeah, anyway, like I said, Rod and the team are committed, and I think they know the weight that lies on the shoulders of Gears 5. I think the fans do, and I think they do, and they want to do right by their fans. My only suggestion for the multiplayer, I've always liked their multiplayer. I've never really had major problems. It's always had a little bit of this and that here and there. I would like to see the Lancer actually be a little more effective, because my
Yes.
biggest thing with Gears is I always felt like, unless you were really good at getting up on people and really good with a shotty, like it felt like your primary weapon was practically useless. Like, to me, the
Mhm.
Lancer, the last time I found a Lancer was effective was in the original Gears games, and it was usually if you were the host advantage, you could be dropping guys like crazy in the
Oh
original game. I
yeah,
don't know if you
especially
remember
if you have a
that, but
hammer burst. It would take like
Midway
half
Seven
the
Months, or what's up, bro? Thanks for stopping by, and I'm glad that you're liking this show. I'm glad that everybody's here and liking the show, guys. You're
yeah.
fantastic. Sorry, go ahead, Primal.
I was just talking about emptying out a hammer burst in its clip.
Mm.
if you,
Speaking of Gears,
if,
that's a good question. I want to ask you, who is your favorite Gears character? What is your
um,
favorite Gears game? And then what is your favorite Gears weapon?
okay, I'll go backwards on that. My favorite Gears weapon is going to be the Gnasher. That is my safety blanket. Well, at least for multiplayer. Like, I am strictly Gnasher. I do a lot of close quarter battles. I like to get all that shit. I want all your shit sprayed all over me. I want to get wet in battle. Like, that's why I love using the Gnasher. Um, as far as like the campaign, I do like having the hammer burst and a sniper and a bolt hawk. Those are the three that I like using in that. My favorite Gears game is going to be Gears 2. I don't know what it is about that game. It could be that I met a lot of like friends who are now like family to me. I've known these
Mm-hmm.
guys for so many years now. Gears 2 just really, really got to me. And I really like the relationship between Dom and Marcus in that. Except for the ending of that one. Spoilers, the ending was like a 2-second thing. I don't it was very unsatisfying, but I still did it. Um, and then as far as my favorite character originally was Gears 2 Benjamin Carmine, because he made me really sad when he died from acid. So I felt bad and I needed to like bring him on. But then I met Bernie Mataki, and oh my God, I love her. I love her voice. She sounds like she smoked 6 packs of cigarettes and is charging into battle. She's so badass. You know, I love her relationship with fuck, what's his name? One of the other guys she's banging, the older guy. Why can't I remember his name? It's so awful. But no, I just love her. She's just so badass and she has a good badass history.
Do you really want to know? Do you really want to know something that would make a game really fucking cool? And this would probably be super hard to do, but I think it would be super groundbreaking. And is that you would have a game like Gears of War with multiple characters, but the thing is, you could play a game mode that would be literally called like it would be called authentic game mode. And what that means is your character, if you die in the game, your dude actually dies, and a cutscene will render where that person dies in the game. And then from there, you have to pick another character. You could get a bunch of different main characters, and then it could be like, say, you're actually using a cog soldier, okay? And based on what you do going forward, your soldier, say if you went through the game and you were just like a traditional cog, that cog could have a personality, and then all of a sudden you build that character, you know what I mean? And like when you take Gears is often known for having those branching paths, so there should be more consequence to the branching paths. And when you take them, it's not just, well, I'm just going to shoot a different creature over here, they're going to pop out and ambush me over here. Like legitimate consequences for your in-game actions to make you really feel like you care about the character, and to make the characters have weight in the game. Because you imagine, like, because you were stupid in the game and you played stupid and your character died, it would be like playing hardcore mode. But yeah, you would still take the regular damage, but you would really need to use your life packs and heal, because if you were stupid and your character dies, they are gone from the game, and that's going to change your outcome. You know what I mean? That'd be fucking groundbreaking.
You're blowing me right now. You're totally like blowing my mind.
You don't have to play it like that. You could have the traditional story, but they could basically make a second game mode where they would actually have legitimate consequences for how you played. So if you want to be brave and play it that way, I think that'd be really cool. But okay, so you said to Nasher, your favorite character was again who?
I'll go with Bernie.
Bernie? And your favorite Gears of all of the Gears games is?
It's going to be Gears 2, because I just have so much history. That's where I actually learned how to get good. I used to be really, really, really bad at Gears, and I used to play to have fun. And then somebody destroyed my life and made me take the game too seriously. And it was through Gears 2. I absolutely love Gears 1 as well. The only two bad things, even a little bit with 3, was the host issue. You know, you would have the person hosting the game thinking that they were the best person in the world, when really they weren't, when he wasn't host, or she wasn't host anymore. But yeah, I loved the heavy, I love the gritty, I love the dark, I love the dirty, I love that whole atmosphere and gameplay of 2 and 1.
Absolutely. Well, for myself, Gears of War 1, but I'm going to say the definitive edition that was remastered for the X or the Xbox One, only because they took everything I loved about the original game, which was a groundbreaker for me. It's one of those games that is still in my memory, was still a masterpiece, was still a game that made me want a 360, more so than Halo, believe it or not. That was the game that made me a Gears fan. It was the introduction to those characters, seeing a fucking Brumach and a Berserker, all of that stuff in the original game was so iconic. Getting my hands on a Torpo for the first time. So my favorite game would be Gears 1, but I'll say the definitive edition, because again, it took everything I loved about the franchise, but it upped it and even added all the content from the PC. My favorite character, I gotta say, it is Coltrane, baby. I love Coltrane because he got so much personality. He's larger than life. He's funny as fuck. He just goes into everything head first. I love the camaraderie between him and Baird, and how they kind of take shots at each other. And I think he's just such a cool character, you know, like he's just badass, right? And he's got a little bit more charisma, I guess, than the rest of the Gears. And my favorite weapon is obviously the torque bow. It's a bit of a hard weapon sometimes to get a hang of and master, but there's nothing I like more than getting that headshot with the torque bow, or you know, getting one of those crazy shots across the map. And you can hear that chink into somebody's armor and then watching the shit blow up. Oh man, the torque bow is just It's just my weapon. I love that thing. Only thing I hate about the Torpo is I wish they had a thing, you know, that the shot just didn't release if it torqued too long. I hate that part because I don't know how many times you just waste ammo because you're not ready to take the shot and you can't back out. What?
It just droops out sometimes. If
yeah, it just droops out. It just goes limp and oh, lost it. Beezy, you know, like a lot of Gears fans up in here, guys. Glad to see the Gears. Cyber Gunder says Gears 1. Beezy says Gears made him an Xbox fan. The Indie Gamer loved Gears 2. Playing with your buddy was fucking amazing. You know, so lots of Gears fans up in here, guys. Great stuff. You're in the right place if you're a Gears fan because me and Primal are hardcore. I'm a hardcore Gears fan. She's a hardcore Gears fan and a Gears player because I play Gears, but she lives Gears. Okay, she's really good at the multiplayer. She kicks my ass. But I love playing with her and against her in that shit. It's fucking awesome. You guys got to get Primal on your team sometime. She's fucking fantastic if you're looking for a great co-op partner. There's a few other people too. Lunch Bizzle's pretty damn good at it. We got a buddy there, Little Bon Jovi is online. He's fucking rocks at that shit too. There's a few other people. But anyway, that kind of rounds out the Gears topic. Hopefully Gears 5 will live up to expectations. I have high hopes for it, and I do not see these guys letting us down. They've had a couple of years. Like I said, the hard stuff was behind them. They got the engine out of the way. They worked on the tweaks. They know they can build a solid Gears. Now it's up to the storytellers, the animation department, and to just really blow our minds. I'm pretty sure the multiplayer is only going to be an evolution of 4. So hold on to your fucking assholes, guys, because Gears 5, it's going to be the shit next year. But anyway, we're rounding out the show. If any of you guys have a particular question, I know I had one directed at me, and I'm going to direct this at you, Primal. Let me just scroll up here. Somebody asked. Midway Monster asked me, what is the next game I'm looking forward to? Well, Midway, there's a lot of games I'm looking forward to, especially in 2019. And I just said my number 1, and that would be Gears 5. But I guess the first one on the list I'm actually excited about is probably going to be Kingdom Hearts 3. I've never played one of these games, but they look amazing, and I'm dying to try the third one. It looks really fucking cool, and it comes out in January. So that would be my first one of the new year. There's nothing else the rest of this year I don't think I want, so I'll put that one on my list. How about you, Primal?
Oh, man. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3. Oh, my God. I've been waiting so long. I know, it looks great, doesn't it? So
my
long. Yeah,
God, that Pirates of the Caribbean stuff, holy shit.
Well, it all happened 15 years ago when I fell in love with Kingdom Hearts 1, and I've just been following it. I haven't really played any of like the 800 million little DS games and stuff that they came up with. I completely said screw that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to maybe even just wrapping up the story or just figuring out what the hell is going on with Sora and the gang. I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. But of course, Gears 5, but that's going to be much later in the year. So if I go in order, it would definitely be Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, Cyber said Anthem. Same with BZ. I'm super excited for Anthem, but the reason I say Kingdom Hearts is because that's the first one that I can think of. I think Resident Evil slated for January as well, if I'm correct. So that one will be right up on there too. Treacherous God says the same thing. Andy says the Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2, I think that remaster is looking amazing so far, and I think that's going to be a huge seller and a huge bright spot for Capcom. I think they're already looking at reworking other titles in the series. So I'd also like to see, where Resident Evil 8 goes at some point, because Resident Evil 7 was such a departure, but a departure in a good way. It was an amazing game. I actually loved Resident Evil 7. Probably my favorite in the series. It was fucking spooky. It had great action, cool story. Creepy as fuck, especially if you had the VR version. Jago swears by it in VR. I've seen him play it in VR, and I can only imagine how creepy it was. That kitchen demo that I had, holy fuck, that shit even creeped me out. So
yeah,
crazy.
I tried the demo. I couldn't do it. I can't.
Oh my God. You really feel like she's coming into your face, isn't it? It's like insane.
I wish there was a game about coming into the face, and I probably wouldn't be so frustrated.
Oh boy. Yeah, it sounds like you could have some fun in VR porn, but that would be interesting. Wow, it's really shooting at me. Yeah, I've heard crazy stuff about Resident Evil 7 in VR. People say, like, if you got a PSVR, that's one of the games you got to get. But I haven't tried it. I don't know if I got enough tact in me, to play it in VR. It was spooky enough just with the regular controller. But anyway, lots of great games on the list for next year. Devil May Cry, Darksiders, Metro. Yeah, it's going to be insane. But anyway, that's going to bring us to the end of the show. If you guys have a specific question now for Primal, would be a great time to ask it before we wrap things up here. So go ahead, chat. I guess one thing while we're waiting for people to ask you a question, Primal, what do you think about, have you tried Fallout 76 yet? I'm dying to know if you have or haven't, and if you're interested in it.
I want to. I'm very interested. I'm very, very interested in it. I love Fallout. I also, the whole multiplayer aspect of it is very intriguing. I'm honestly terrified because one, no one on my friends list is playing it. So it kind of makes me not as interested anymore. And though I do not go by reviews completely, I do still read them and I do kind of pay attention to them. And there really hasn't been much out there to really make me want to be in it. I did miss the beta, which was my own fault. But maybe if it goes on sale, then I'll think about it.
Yeah, I won't talk about it too much. I'm hearing kind of mixed things. Some people liking it. Some people say it's, it's Fallout 4 with less shit, and I don't know. But yeah, when I do maybe get a chance to check it out at some point, yeah. Midway Monsters asking what your gamer tag is, Primal. So go ahead and shout it out to me if you want.
Yeah, my gamer tag is Primal Eve, and
Primal Eve. There you go. Easy. Pretty simple. Primal Eve. She just typed it for you in the chat. That's how you put it in your Xbox. Go add her, guys. Make sure you add her on Twitter as well. What was I was going to just wrap up. Here's a great question for you, Primal. I'm sure all the guys in the chat are dying to know. I think you're literally the only woman in the chat, and I don't recall seeing any other girl gamers up in here. But you have certainly sparked some interest from our guy audience. Dazzy, I think, got so excited he passed out or something. Just like after sex, right? It's all done. So my question for you, Primal, this is a good one. The chat's going to love this if you give us an honest answer. What is your biggest turn on and what's your biggest turn off?
My biggest turn on? I fucking love a nerdy guy. I love a guy that's full of information and that can out nerd me. It's very, very sexy. Smart is so sexy. See, okay, I have a few turn-ons. I have to have a gamer, and if you could beat me in a game, that is so sexy. I am absolutely about being beaten. challenge issue. Well, it sounds like Daz would challenge you to Mortal Kombat. Right. He beats almost everybody in that one. Oh my god. Well, I haven't played him yet, so I'm still gonna try that. Like, see, I have a few, like humor is also a big thing. You guys kind of have an idea of how how my humor goes. You got to be able to hang with me too. I can't be grossing you out or making you blush or anything. You need to come back and hit me.
Porn Distracted's got a great question. Is Revenge of the Nerds your favorite all-time movie?
I can't watch it without my hand down my pants. So.
Oh boy, I love it. I wish more girls were like this. Honestly, a lot more of us nerdy guys would have some hope in the fucking world. Seriously, that's fantastic. And your biggest turn off, Primal?
My biggest turn off is
something that guy does. You're just like, that's it for me. You had me going for a minute, but now you're just done.
Pretending to be something that you're not. I don't care if you're bad at doing something. I don't care if, like, I don't know, you smell like cheese. I'll help you. But it's just like, don't pretend that you're something you're not. I've been with a lot of guys that would pretend to be a certain type of person or even a certain gamer, and it's just be yourself. Bring out your full nerd, bring out your full crazy, show me all of your weird obsessions or weird kinky things. Show me, because I'm actually completely open to everything.
So Peasy's basically wanting to know that if they fart around you, that's not going to be
that is not an issue. You can fart, you can burp, you can, I don't know, if you need to piss in a bottle, be gracious and cap it off and wipe it down.
Can you guys just imagine a first date with Primal? You're just sitting at the table. It's like, I know what this girl's like, and you're just like How do you like that one? And you're just like, instead of going to the washroom, I'm just gonna piss in this Pepsi bottle.
That's the thing. If someone farts around me, I'm not gonna be disgusted. I'm gonna laugh my ass off. You know,
my God.
Just be yourself. Don't hide anything. Let yourself shine.
Great advice from Primal Eve, guys. Be yourself, be nerdy, don't hide who you are, be proud of what you are. I mean, I'm sure there's limitations, but anyway, there's some great advice from Primal. I'm going to wrap up the show 9:10, and we had some great topics tonight, some great discussions, some amazing laughs, fucking fantastic chat. This has been an amazing episode of episode 3. I think we should. I don't know how we don't have at least 100 people in here. This is definitely a little bit different than a lot of podcasts. Just different, I guess, because, well, first of all, the host is kind of fucking different. I'm weird and wacky and all over the place, and I know some of you guys are definitely like what I do and how I portray myself. And I think I'm pretty educated, I suppose, as a gamer, and I'm pretty fair. I don't think I come across as too crazy, but you guys are fantastic. Like I said, there's a lot of names in this chat tonight who I've seen throughout my mixer streams, who I've seen throughout the Game Dosage podcast streams, and you guys have no idea how much it means to me when I see you guys show up. Big shout out to Spider-Man 356, who's here as well. Dude's been like supporting me like crazy since day one, and you know me, guys, I'm just in it for fun. I'm like all you guys in the chat. I do this for fun. I enjoy it, and I can't tell you how much. And I don't need Patreons, and I don't need people to sponsor me money. I guess I can't even get, was it the super chat until I get to about 1,000 followers. That would be cool, but like I said, I don't do this for money or donations and handouts. I'm just a simple, easygoing guy that likes gaming, just like most of you in the chat. So thanks for the support. It's encouraging because I want to keep this going. I want to bring more people on as guests, and I will do that. And I can guarantee you that Primal Eve will be back again and in the near future. So she is phenomenal. I think this could almost turn into a regular co-hosting duty at some point here. I've talked to her about it before. You never know, guys. So keep your eyes and ears peeled. Keep your zippers up for now, but it's going to be good. Anyway, Midway is like, I would give money, support you guys. Well, appreciate it, Midway. You just showing up in the chat, brother, is gold to me, bro. And Treacherous God, he's a good buddy of mine. You know, for me, I give a shout out to Tretch because, dude, add this guy on Xbox. He's a great dude. We go way back to like Gears of War 1. He's one of my oldest Xbox friends ever. And it's really cool that recently he discovered that I was doing this shit, and he's been supporting me on the here too. So that's really cool. And Indie Gamer, dude, you've been fucking phenomenal. Always supporting all that shit. But anyway, guys, I could give you all T Gameplays, dude. What you having, dude? Thanks for coming out, T Gameplays. Appreciate it, brother. To everybody in the chat, you know, trolls. I haven't had any trolls yet. Everybody's been fucking phenomenal, which is awesome. But anyway, guys. Primal, before we wrap, just again, tell people how to get a hold of you, all that good shit.
All right. I will be returning back to the Game Dosage podcast next Monday. I'm really, really happy to see a lot of you here. Thank you for showing up, and also thank you for supporting me during this time that I haven't been around. So it's just, I'm very, very happy to see all of you. You guys can find me on Twitter at Primal Eve. I am also on the Xbox as Primal Eve. And then on the PSN, guess what? I'm Primal Eve. So it's pretty easy to find me. I'm actually pretty sure if you Google, actually, this is dangerous. If you Google Primal Eve, you may find some pictures of me. I'm pretty sure the ones that shouldn't be on are gone. But yeah, I wish you luck if you want to go on that journey.
Love and respect to you too, Cyber Gunter. He loves what you're doing, Primal. So great stuff, guys. Support your girl gamers. That's a big thing too, guys. We take it for granted. Our female gaming community, they are fucking phenomenal. Many of them are very talented, can kick her ass. A lot of them can talk games, even though guys sometimes think that they can't. But Primal obviously showed you that she can talk about games. She can kick ass with the best of us. And show your love and support to female game players, because it's not all about cleavage and fucking ass videos and stuff like they're always doing on fucking Twitch and shit just to get hits and shit. You know, sometimes they can be charismatic and funny, just like Primal. And that's why I love this girl. You know what I mean? She's just phenomenal. She's a cool gamer. She's a cool cat, and I'm glad to be a part of to have her as a co-panel member on the Game Dosage podcast. If you want to see more Newf and Primal, go check us out on the Game Dosage podcast. If all goes well and her health is well enough, hopefully she'll be back with us again next Monday. But we're going to wrap it up, guys. Check me out on Xbox Live. Cyber Gunter, we got to go collecting some more orbs in that Crackdown, brother. Lunch Bizzle, you're awesome, dude. Shizno, guys, thanks everybody. Timothy Dixon, first guy in tonight, probably the last guy out. Sounds like a good sex night, isn't it? BZ loves the mixture. I love the positivity here. It's really encouraging because I want to keep doing this podcast. So that is fantastic. Anyway, guys, I've kept you here long enough. Go get some sleep or whatever it is, whatever time zone you're in. Just have a great day. Keep it real. Keep it gaming. Peace on. Catch you later. See you, Crazy. See you, everybody. See you, Cyber. Later, people. Have a good night.